Hello dear students, welcome to my fourth lecture of chapter 5. We have discussed in our last lecture about operating profit ratio. In that we have done with one sum. Now we'll do another sum, that is page number 220, illustration number 8. Page 220, illustration number 8. From the following information of H Limited, calculate operating profit ratio. They have given sales rupees 7,50,000. Then cost of goods sold, that means COGS, that is 3 lakh. And operating expense 1,50,000. So the main formula to find operating profit ratio, that is operating profit upon net sales into 100. Operating profit ratio is equal to operating profit upon net sales into 100. In this sum, they have given sales, right? But they have not given us sales return. That means this sale is our net sale. Now we want operating profit, but there is no operating profit given. That means we have to find operating profit. Operating profit is equal to net sales minus operating cost. We have net sale, but we don't have operating cost. That means first of all we have to find operating cost. The formula to find operating cost is COGS plus operating expense. So we have COGS and operating expense both. So we can easily find operating cost. COGS is 3 lakh plus operating expense 1,50,000. That means operating cost is 4,50,000. Now we can find operating profit, right? Net sales is 7,50,000 minus operating cost 4,50,000. Then our operating profit will be 3 lakh. Operating profit. Now we get both the things, operating profit and net sales. That means we can apply the amount in this formula. Operating profit is 3 lakh and net sales is 7,50,000 into 100. Then we'll get the answer is 40%. So our operating profit ratio is our profit is 40%, which means our operating expenses are 60%, right? We have discussed that operating profit plus operating expense is equal to net sales 100. If our net sales is 100% and our profit is 40%, then our operating expenses are 60%. And if our operating expenses are 60%, then our operating profit is 40%, vice versa. Okay, I am explaining again. See, they have given sales, COGS and operating expense. We have to find operating profit ratio, right? If we don't know which formula we have to apply, right? Then first of all we'll write the mean formula. Then they don't give us operating profit. That's why we use the formula of operating profit. In operating profit also they don't give us operating cost. That's why first of all we have find operating cost, then operating profit and then operating profit ratio. Okay, write it down. Next one, page 221, illustration number 9. Page 221, illustration number 9. From the following information of J Company Limited given below, calculate operating profit ratio. For that they have given opening stock 60,000, then purchase 5 lakh, purchase expense 20,000, office expense 50,000, interest paid 15,000, dividend received 15,000, depreciation 40,000, loss due to accident 10,000, loss due to accident 10,000, sales 8 lakh, sales 8 lakh, closing stock 70,000, sales return 30,000, and last income tax rate. That is 30%. So they have tell us to find operating profit ratio, right? So first of all we have to find net sales. Why? Because they have given sales and sales return. So net sales is equal to sales minus sales return. Total sales 8 lakh minus sales return 30,000. So our net sales is 7,70,000. Okay. Now we have to find COGS. COGS is equal to opening stock plus purchase plus purchase expense minus closing stock. Opening stock is 60,000, purchase 5 lakh, purchase expense 20,000, then closing stock minus 70,000. So our COGS is 5,10,000. Now we have to find operating expense. Operating expense. We have discussed that in operating expense will include office expense, depreciation, sales expense and amount written off, right? So from this will include office expense, interest paid, that is finance expense, that's why it will not be included. Dividend received, that is our income. Depreciation, yes, loss due to accident is non-operating expense. Sales, no. Okay, that means two things. First one is office expense plus depreciation. Office expenses are 50,000 and depreciation is 40,000. So our answer is 90,000. Operating expense. Now we'll find operating cost. Operating cost is equal to COGS plus operating expense. COGS 5,10,000 plus 90,000, total 6 lakh. Operating cost. Now operating profit is equal to net sales minus operating cost. Net sales are 7,70,000 minus 6 lakh. That means our operating profit is 1,70,000. Now we can apply the main formula. Operating profit ratio is equal to operating profit upon net sales into 100. Operating profit is 1,70,000 upon 7,70,000 and net sales into 100, and our answer is 22.08%. That means our expenses are near about 77.92%, right? I'm explaining again. See, this sum is calculated by straight way, right? We can use it by opposite way. That means we can apply first main formula, then ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट, ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट, ऑपरेटिंग एक्सपेंस, COGS एंड नेट सेल्स। अगर हम लोगों को पता नहीं है तभी हम लोग ऐसे ऑपोजिट वे में स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। अगर आपको क्वेश्चन से ही पता चल जाता है तो आप डायरेक्टली अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, जैसे मैंने किया। पहला सम जो था वो हमने ऑपोजिट वे में स्टार्ट किया था ताकि आपको पता चले कैसे फाइंड करना है। अगर नहीं पता हो तो आप ऐसे फाइंड कर सकते हैं। ओके, सी they have given all this thing. They have given opening stock, purchase expense and closing stock. That means we have to find COGS, right? And depreciation and office expense are for operating expense. So if we total both the things, COGS and operating expense, then we'll get operating cost. And they have given sales and sales return, that is to find net sales. And then we can apply the main formula. Operating profit ratio is equal to operating profit upon net sales into 100. So our answer is 22.08%. I am reminding you again, this question will be asked in your examination for 4 marks. Okay, in our textbook they have shown in very short way, right? But you have to apply, or you can use all the formula. Okay, that means there are less chances to do mistakes. Okay, write it down. So now we'll understand 1B, that is net profit ratio, last ratio to check the profitability of a firm. As we have discussed, in profitability ratios there are 4 ratios: gross profit ratio, operating ratio, operating profit ratio and net profit ratio. Gross profit, net profit ratio and operating profit ratio are income based ratio. Only one operating ratio, that is expense based ratio. Let's start with 1D, that is net profit ratio. This ratio will help to check the relation between net profit and net sales. Formula to find net profit ratio is net profit upon net sales. You can use net profit or PAT, which means profit after tax. Profit after tax into 100. Okay, to find net profit and net sales we have to prepare one table. Okay, we have studied statement of P&L in chapter number 3, that we have to apply over here. Okay, particulars, rupees, no need to do LF. First of all, they have given us sales minus sales return. That means we'll get net sales plus non-operating income. That means we'll get total income. Next, less. COGS, operating expense, then finance expense, then non-operating expense. Total of 4 is known as total expense. Okay, step number 1, then 2, then step number 3 minus step number 4. That is our answer, total expense. Then we'll get the answer of profit before tax. That means column number 3 minus 4. Then 6th, income tax rate less. Seventh step, that is profit after tax, which means 5th minus 6th, and this is our answer, right? This is same as statement of P&L. Okay, I am explaining again. Sales minus sales return, which means we'll get net sales. Then non-operating income, that means 1 plus 2, sales plus non-operating income is equal to total income. Then we have to subtract COGS, operating expense, finance expense and non-operating expense from total income. So total of this 4 expense is total expense, that is 4th. So 3 minus 4, that means we get 5th, that is profit before tax. Then 6th, income tax rate, that has been given in our question. So 5 minus 6 and we get the answer, profit after tax. Then we'll apply this amount into this formula and we'll get the answer of net profit ratio. Okay, write it down. Let's do sum. Page number 222. Page 222. Illustration number 10. From the given information in illustration 9, calculate net profit ratio. We have done with the illustration number 9, right? Open that. In that, we found COGS, operating expense, right? Everything. Still, we'll apply it again. So, first of all, they have given opening stock, purchase expense and closing stock. That means we'll first of all find COGS. COGS is equal to opening stock plus purchase plus purchase expense minus closing stock. Then for operating expense, they have given of office expense and depreciation. Right? Then there is only one finance expense. Non-operating expense is only one. That means no need to use formula for that. I will, first of all, we have to find COGS and operating expense, and after that we can apply this table. Okay, so let's find COGS. Opening stock is 60,000, purchase 5 lakh. 60,000 plus 5 lakh plus purchase expense 20,000 minus closing stock 70,000. Answer is 5 lakh 10,000. That is COGS. Then office expense 50,000 and depreciation 40,000. That means 90,000 is our operating expense. Don't forget to use therefore over here. Okay. Now apply all these things in our table. So first of all, write down the table. I have already written down. That's why I will not write it again. One by one, we'll apply the amount over here. First, they have given opening stock, purchase expense, right? That will use in COGS. We have already found COGS, that is 5 lakh 10,000. Operating expense is 90,000. Okay? So, opening stock has been used, purchase used, purchase expense also used, office expense used. Then next thing is interest paid. Interest paid is our finance expense, right? So we'll write it over here. Finance expense 15,000 into bracket interest paid. Okay. Next, dividend received. Dividend received is our income. That is our non-operating income. That is 15,000. 15,000. Okay. Into bracket dividend. You have to write dividend over here. I don't have space, that's why I write it down here. Okay. Next, depreciation used, loss due to accident. That is non-operating expense. I don't have space, that's why I am writing here. You have to write over here. Okay. Loss due to accident. That is 10,000. Then sales 8 lakh. Then closing stock, we have already applied that. Sales return 30,000. And income tax rate, that is 30%. Okay. So sales minus sales return will get net sales, that is 7,70,000. 7,70,000 plus 15,000, then we will get the answer 7,85,000, right? Total of COGS 6 times 625, 6,25,000. Sorry, here 6,25,000. Okay. Then deduct 7,85,000 minus 6,25,000. 3 minus 4. Then we'll get the answer 1,60,000. of 30%. 30% of 1,60,000, that is 48,000. Now subtract income tax from PBT, that means 5 minus 6, and we'll get the answer 1,12,000. So this is our profit after tax, right? Now after this table we have to apply the formula of net profit ratio. Okay, I am writing it here, but you have to write it down after the table. Okay, first of all this to formula, then table, and then net profit ratio. Okay, net profit ratio is equal to PAT upon net sales into 100. Our PAT is 1,12,000, net sales 7,70,000 into 100. Our answer is 14.55%. See, in operating profit ratio and operating profit, we are using the expenses till operating expense. We are not using finance expense and non-operating expense over there, right? In gross profit ratio, we are only using COGS. But in finding out net profit ratio, we are using all the expense and deduct it from sales. That means we can say that this is the best method or formula to check the profitability of a firm. Here our profit is 14.55%. Write it down. Let's do another sum, page 247, question number 7. Calculate net profit ratio from information of question 5 and question 6. See, in question 5, they have asked to find operating ratio. We have found that, but now we have to use same information to check or to find net profit ratio. So, they have given non-operating other expense, depreciation, admin expense. Okay, I am writing down here. Non-operating other expenses, that is 35,000. Then depreciation 48,000. Then admin expense 75,000. Admin expense 75,000. Then sales 6 lakh. Then tax rate 30%. Then income of interest and dividend 45,000. Income of interest dividend, that is 45,000. Then sales expense, 52,000. COGS, 3,25,000. Financial expense, 85,000. Okay. So, first of all, we have to give some space and then write table, or else you can directly write the table and other calculation you can down after table. Okay. So particulars, rupees. First one is sales minus sales written. You can write first over here. First, net sales. Okay. Second, non-operating income. Then we'll get the answer total income. That is third. Okay. Now fourth, less expenses. Then we have to subtract expenses from that. First expense is COGS, then operating expense, finance expense, non-operating expense, total expense. Then fifth, profit before tax. 3 minus 4. Sixth, income tax rate. And seventh, profit after tax, that is 5 minus 6. Okay. So see the question. Non-operating other expense, that is a non-operating expense, 35,000. Then depreciation. We have to write down depreciation in operating expense, right? That's why we'll separately find operating expense. Depreciation plus admin expense sales, then sales expense. Depreciation is 48,000, admin expense 75,000, and sales expense 52,000. Total is 1,75,000. That means we get the answer of operating expense, that is 1,75,000. We are using formula over here because there is no need to write down all these three things over here, okay, or else it will look mess. Okay, next, sales 6 lakh, tax rate 30%, then income of interest and dividend here 45,000, income of interest and dividend, sales expense included COGS 3,25,000, finance expense 85,000. Okay, they have not given us sales return. We use all these things, right? So our net sales is 6 lakh plus 1 plus 2 total income. So total income is 6 lakh 45,000. Then COGS, operating expense, finance expense and non-operating expense. Total, that is 6 lakh 20,000. Then profit before tax 3 minus 4. 3 is 6 lakh 45,000 minus 6 lakh 20,000. 25,000 minus 30% of 25,000, that is 7,500. And our profit after tax will be 17,500. That means we get profit after tax and net sales both. So we can apply the formula of net profit ratio is equal to profit after tax upon net sales into 100. Profit after tax is 17,500 upon net sales is 6 lakh into 100. Then we'll get the answer, that is 2.92%. That means our final profit, that is 2.92%. Okay, explaining again, they have given all these expenses. We have write it down one by one, and those things, see, for example, depreciation, admin expense and sales expense comes in operating expense. So if we don't do math, because it will look too dirty in our paper, that's why we have applied the formula over here and do the total and then write the total over here. Okay, so first sales minus sales return, that means we will get the answer of net sales. Then 1 plus 2, that means net sales plus income, that means we will get the answer of total income minus expenses. There are 4 kinds of expenses: COGS, operating expense, finance expense and non-operating expense. Total of this 4 expenses is total expense, then subtract 4 from 3, that means 3 minus 4. So 6,45,000 minus 6,20,000, that means we will get the answer 25,000. That is our profit before tax. Now we have to deduct income tax from that. So 25,000 and tax rate is 30%. So 25,000's 30% is 7,500. So 25,000 minus 7,500, that is profit after tax 17,500. Then PAT upon net sales into 100. PAT is 17,500 to net sales is 6 lakh into 100. That means our net profit ratio, that is 2.92%. Okay, write it down. Another sum of page 247, question 7. In that 2, that is related to question number 6. In the question they have given sales, COGS, sales expense, loss due to accident, depreciation and all. Okay, I'm not writing down question over here because that is why less space. Okay, so we'll directly apply the amount. Okay, see. First of all, sales. Sales is 39 lakh. So, then COGS, cost of goods consumed, that is 25 lakh, right? But they have also given wages over there. So, we can use wages in cost of goods consumed. COGS is equal to cost of goods consumed plus wages. Cost of goods consumed is 25 lakh plus wages 2 lakh. That means COGS is 27 lakh. So in COGS we'll write 27 lakh. Okay. Next, sales expense. It will come in operating expense, right? So operating expense is equal to sales expense plus loss due to accident. No, that is our non-operating expense. So we'll write it over here. Loss due to accident, that is 40,000. Next, factory expenses including depreciation. That means depreciation comes in operating expense. Then wages already included in COGS. Administrative expense 1,75,000. It will come in operating expense, admin expense. Okay. Then interest on loan, that is our finance expense. So it will come over here. Total 60,000. Then interest on loan. You have to write interest on loan and loss due to accident over here. Okay, don't forget that. Then in dividend received on investment 1 lakh. Non-operating income, dividend 1 lakh. Then tax rate 30%. Okay, all the information has been finished. So let's do the total of operating expense. Sales expense 75,000 plus $50,000 plus administrative expense 1,75,000. Total, that is 3 lakh. 3 lakh. 39 lakhs, no sales return, that means net sale is 39 lakh plus 1 lakh. Total income 40 lakh. 27 lakh plus 3 lakh plus 6 lakh plus 4 lakh. That means 27 plus 3, 30, 31 lakh. 40 lakh minus 31 lakh, 9 lakh. 30% of 9 lakh, that is 2 lakh 70,000. And our PAT is 6 lakh 30,000. See, I am explaining again. They have given all the information. We have used one by one information and write it down over here. Only sales expense, depreciation, admin expense. We don't want to do mess over here. That's why we have applied the formula and do the total. Same in COGS. There are two things: cost of goods consumed and wages. That's why we do the total over here and write down the answer here. Then 3 minus 4. That means total income minus total expense. So 40 lakh minus 31 lakh and our answer is 9 lakh. Then our income tax rate, that is 30%. So 9 lakh into 30% and we get the answer, that is 2 lakh 70,000. So 9 lakh minus 2 lakh 70,000 is equal to 6 lakh 30,000. Now after getting answer of profit after tax, we'll apply the formula. Net profit ratio is equal to profit after tax upon net sales into 100. So our profit after tax is 6 lakh 30,000 divided by our total income, that is 40 lakh. Sorry, not total income, net sales, that is 39 lakh into 100. Okay, and we get the answer 16.15%. Our net profit ratio is 16.15%. That means our expenses are near about 85%. Clear? Here we have completed all the ratios to check profitability. Okay? Mainly 4 ratios are there, right? And this was the last. Okay? Write it down. And yes, your homework, that is, do all this sum in your fair book and as well as in your rough book. In fair book with this video and in rough book after you do your fair book complete. Okay? Next sums related to liquidity ratio we'll do in our next video lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe.